Welcome to Safe Again, a mind body soul reset for the anxiety tired. Module 2 Spot the patterns, reclaim your power. Hi, lovely. Thank you for being here. I know it's not always easy to show up when you're feeling stretched, thin, or anxious. We're starting right on time, but there's no rush. You just being here is enough. My name's Julie, and I'll be guiding you through today's session. If you have any questions, feel free to hold on to them, and I'll leave space at the end to gently check in. This is a soft space. You're welcome to keep your camera on or off, grab tea or water, or curl under a blanket or step away if you need a moment. However you need to be here is perfect. As a wise man once said, you don't have to control your thoughts, you just have to stop letting them control you. Anxiety can feel like being stuck in a loop. Same fears, same spirals, same exhaustion, but today we're learning to recognize those patterns, not to fight them, just to understand them so they don't have to run the show anymore. Let's begin. Module 2 Spot the patterns, reclaim your power. You've probably heard people casually say, just turn anxiety into excitement, or seen successful leaders talk about how they redefined their anxiety. It sounds simple, but honestly, it can feel pretty impossible at times. After collapsing from exhaustion in 2007, Ariana Huffington stopped seeing anxiety as a threat. Instead, she began to see it as a sign from her body saying something needs care. She used small daily changes to take control of her stress, like prioritizing sleep and setting boundaries. For Mark Andreessen, anxiety is a sign he's pushing boundaries. He views it as a natural part of creating something new. He embraces attention, knowing that it means he's on the verge of something, and maybe a bit risky. And after losing her husband, Sheryl Sandberg found herself overwhelmed by anxiety. She reframed it as a sign of survival. For her, anxiety was proof she was still going through the process of healing and rebuilding, which eventually helped her become stronger. As a clinical hypnotherapist, I've seen just how transformative reframing can be. After reading Frogs into Princes by Richard Bandler, I began using the 6-step reframe process with clients, especially those working through anxiety. The magic of it is, I don't need to know the details. I simply trust that the unconscious mind knows exactly what it's doing. Often clients come in thinking their anxiety is irrational or broken, but in session, they discover something else the anxiety's trying to help, just in a clumsy or outdated way. For example, for someone like Ariana, the unconscious message might be, this task matters, slow down and be present. For someone like Mark, you're doing something risky, proceed with care, but don't stop your creativity. For someone like Sheryl, you've suffered, but you're still standing, you're rebuilding. Here's a classic example from Bandler's work. A woman wanted to lose 45 pounds. She had before, but had always gained it back. Through reframing, they uncovered the part of her responsible for overeating was trying to protect her marriage. It wasn't sabotage, it was survival. You see, she believed that if she lost the weight, other men might approach her, and deep down she feared she wouldn't be able to say no. Overeating became her subconscious shield. Not ideal, but deeply understandable. This is what we call secondary gain, the hidden, often protective purpose behind an unhelpful behavior. The power of reframing is this. You separate the true positive intention from the outdated behavior, and once the unconscious mind finds new ways to meet that deeper need, ways that are healthier, more empowering, the old behavior becomes unnecessary, it just fades. As a clinical hypnotherapist, I've seen just how transformative reframing can be. Here's roughly how Richard Bandler runs a 6-step reframe. He starts by identifying the pattern. He tells the person, keep the content to yourself, assign the behavior a code name, just call it X, choose a pattern you've been running, one you'd like to swap for something more useful like eat less, exercise more, worry less, enjoy life more. Choose a pattern you've been running, one you'd like to swap out for something more useful like eat less, exercise more, or worry less and enjoy life more. Then he says something like, I completely acknowledge that this behavior X isn't a good reflection of you as a person or as a whole adult organism. He assumes something simple. If the person has conscious control over the behavior, they would have changed it already. So this must be an unconscious process. Then he establishes respectful communication. He tells them, I respect the part of you that's been running this pattern X. Recognize it's trying to do something positive for you, even if the effect isn't what you want. He doesn't push to create change straight away. He makes sure the part responsible for X is willing to cooperate. He lets it know no change will happen until you agree it's better for you and the whole system. He says something like, I'm not talking to your conscious mind, I'm talking to the part of you that's been running this behavior. This part is in charge right now. I'm just here as the consultant. He gives this analogy. Imagine needing a document signed at the federal building in San Francisco. Out of 450 people, only one can actually sign it. Going door to door would be a waste of time. That's what it's like when a therapist talks only to the conscious mind. It's not the one holding the pen. So when someone says, I keep doing X and I want to stop, he knows they've already tried consciously and failed. So he goes straight to the subconscious mind, the part that's running the show, the part with the authority to sign off. The subconscious mind, again, he assumes is doing the behavior X, which is trying to benefit them. It's just working with old information or limited tools. Then he makes contact with that part. He asks the client, will the part of me responsible for pattern X communicate with me in consciousness? He watches closely. Does the client start blushing? Is there a temperature shift or a sense of pressure somewhere in the body? He locates it. Okay, it's in your stomach. Then he teaches them how to talk to that part. Say, thank you for the signal. He validates that part to show respect. Then he asks the subconscious mind, if you're saying yes, that you're willing to communicate, please intensify the signal, and if no, reduce it. Now he has a signal, a yes or no from the unconscious mind, and that's when the real change work begins. He says, would you be willing to let me know in the consciousness what you're trying to do through this behavior X? The client smiles, and that's the moment when there's a conscious appreciation for the intended behavior X. He says, do you agree that this intention is something you'd like to keep, just with a better strategy? Client agrees. Now there's alignment between the unconscious intention and the conscious values. He says to the creative part, will you be willing to find other ways to achieve that same positive intention? Allow that part of you to come up with anywhere between 3 and 1,000 different ways. The client says, I think so. Then he checks, do you now have at least 3 different choices, whether or not you're conscious of them, that are more effective than pattern behavior X? The client says yes. He says, does that part of you agree to take responsibility for using one of the new choices to achieve the same outcome rather than using the same pattern? Once he answers yes, he moves on to the next part, ecology, to protect the system. It's elegant. Ask if there's any part of you that has any objection to the new choices. Notice any sensations, pressure, tension, visuals, sounds. The client says, there's no objections. How do you know? The client says, I felt no tension. Then he asks, were there any changes, kinesthetic, visual, auditory? Because usually the heart rate increases in this part. While most clients think it might be fear, it's actually excitement that something is about to change. This client feels calm, which is unusual. There's no excitement, so Bandler says something weird to the client. I want to speak privately with your unconscious mind. The client has no idea what this means, but it works. People shift. They speak in different voices. Maybe the division was always there. Maybe he created it. It doesn't matter. He gets the result. This man had lived as a homosexual for 25 years, but the subconscious revealed something strange. The first time he had tried to physically assert himself was during a tonsil operation at age 5. He was trying to be a strong man as a 5-year-old boy. He fought back. He didn't want the tonsil operation. He started to fight with the doctors in the hospital bed. They gave him an injection. He went limp, and the unconscious mind anchored the submission to strong emotions. Later in life, whenever he felt fear or anger, his body would go limp. His conscious mind interpreted that as being gay, but his unconscious didn't want him to consciously realize it had been a mistake. It feared the truth would destroy him. All it wanted was a way to help him grow. So they agreed on a cover story. He'll believe the change came from a spiritual insight during a drug experience. He thought weed gave him wisdom, and that was enough. He changed. Bandler often says, many unconscious parts are doing their best even when they're causing problems. They're just trying to help, and most of us have been fighting them. Sometimes he'll say, go inside and apologize. That part's been trying to help, and you've just been making the job harder. So that's roughly how Richard Bandler does the 6-step reframe. I'm not here to change your behavior or identity. We're only talking about anxiety. I want you to know this isn't about changing who you are. You are enough, just as you are. What we're focusing on is simply understanding anxiety as a pattern, and that's been showing up in your life. It doesn't define you. It certainly doesn't have to control your future. Together, we're going to gently explore those patterns, and in doing so, give your power back. It's about understanding and shifting the way anxiety shows up so you can respond in a way that feels more aligned with the person you truly are. This is about you feeling freer, calmer, more in control, one step at a time. Why am I even talking to you about this? You're ready to move forward. You've already done so much inner work, and I want to acknowledge that. But I know that there are moments where something seems to pull you back. This module is here to help you gently recognize those patterns and finally break free from them at your own pace. Your reactions aren't flaws. The way you respond to anxiety isn't a reflection of your worth. It's your brain and body working the best way they know how. But now it's time to begin shifting those patterns with kindness and understanding towards yourself. You deserve relief. You might be asking yourself, why am I still feeling this way? That's okay. This module is here to support you in letting go of self-doubt and embracing the peace and calm that you truly deserve. So what are we really talking about here? Before we begin addressing anxiety and its patterns, let's pause for a moment to reflect on what true well-being means. Well-being's not a static concept. It evolves with us as we journey through life. Perhaps at one point, well-being meant adding more vegetables to your plate because a friend suggested it. Later, a fitness coach might have shared the benefits of protein powder, and you tried it. Over time, advice flows in, some nurturing, some confusing, some needing deeper reflection. We live in a world filled with voices, some grounded in wisdom, others clouded by the noise of opinions. Trained professionals dedicate years to mastering their trade. Their guidance is rooted in experience and understanding, yet in the vast ocean of advice online, there's a mix, some of it valuable, some of it misguided. It's often missing that deep, personal connection that speaks directly to your unique experience. So before absorbing any advice, whether it's about healing, health, or personal growth, take a sacred pause, tune in to yourself, ask, where is this coming from? Does this resonate with my spirit? Is it truly aligned with what feels right for me? Your well-being is a beautiful, dynamic journey, and you have the power to decide which guidance nourishes your path. Trust yourself in divining what healing looks like for you. About me, I'm Julie, a certified clinical hypnotherapist and master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and a life coach. I work with the mind and subconscious to help you unlock your true potential. How your subconscious mind works. Let's take a moment to remind ourselves how our subconscious mind gently guides our experience, often behind the scenes. Right now, without any conscious effort on your part, your body's breathing, blinking, performing countless other functions. You're not directing it. It's simply flowing like a river in perfect harmony with your being. Now think about the things that capture your attention. If we all focused on certain things like the warmth of sunlight, the feeling of being grounded in the earth, or the beauty of stillness, we would likely invite more peace and calm into our lives. Imagine if we thought about these calming moments every day for a year. We would naturally create a sense of alignment and serenity as though preparing for a peaceful journey. Here's the fascinating part. Your brain is naturally attuned to your environment and responds with what you focus on. When you begin to think about a peaceful moment, your subconscious mind sends a signal to your body, prompting it to produce calming chemicals like a gentle breeze sweeping through the mind. This energy spreads throughout your bloodstream, aligning your body with peaceful thoughts you've been nurturing. The same mechanism can happen with anxiety. Often, when you focus on future uncertainties, worrying about what may or may not happen, your subconscious mind reacts by producing a sense of tension, preparing for what you fear might come. This is a natural response, but it doesn't have to control you. Your thoughts about the future, though they may feel overwhelming, are just thoughts. They're not set in stone. With intention, you can gently guide your mind away from worry and redirect it towards what you desire to feel, whether it's peace, hope, or a sense of control over your own journey. Just like you can create alignment with positive thoughts, you have the power to shift these future-oriented cycles of anxiety by bringing awareness, kindness, and intention to your mind. Through compassionate self-awareness, you can step into a new way of being, one that allows you to move through uncertainty with more grace and trust. The inner dialogue of anxiety. Anxiety can feel like a shapeshifter, subtle one moment, overwhelming the next. But beneath the surface, it often follows a pattern, not because you're broken, but because your nervous system's doing its best to keep you safe. These patterns aren't who you are. They're just the ways your mind and body have learned to respond to uncertainty, overwhelm, and fear of the unknown. What if instead of judging these patterns, we meet them with kindness? What if we name them, held a space for them, and began to see that they aren't permanent? They're habits that our system has practiced over time. Let's take a moment to name some of these common patterns, not to pathologize, but to bring light into places that feel tangled. Awareness is the beginning of peace. Future orientation, my mind jumps to worst case scenarios, like trying to protect me from what hasn't happened yet. Intolerance for ambiguity. Uncertainty makes me feel restless. I just want something I can count on. External locus of control. It feels like everything's out of my hands, controlled by forces I can't reach. Emotional rumination. The same anxious emotions loop through my body, tight chest, sinking belly. Global communication style. It all feels like too much. I don't know where to start. Lack of compartmentalization. One worry spreads everywhere. I go from a thought to full-blown survival mode. Self-referencing. This feeling reminds me of something awful. My body thinks it's happening again. Stable attributional style. I tell myself I've always been this way, like I can't change it. If you recognized yourself in any of these, take a breath. That awareness is a gift. It means you're ready to shift. These patterns aren't signals something's wrong with you. They're evidence your system's doing what it learned to do, protect you. But now you're ready for something gentler. You're ready to work a new rhythm, one that honors your strength and your softness. You are the witness, the healer, the soul choosing to walk through this with love. Let's keep walking. There's more peace ahead. The 6-step reframe from Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP. I know you might not like surprises, especially when you're working on something as tender as anxiety. So let me tell you what's coming with kindness and full transparency. In a moment, I'm going to invite you to join me for a gentle hypnosis session. Nothing strange or mysterious, just relaxed, focused state that helps your conscious mind feel safe enough to make powerful, peaceful changes. On the screen, you can see the 6-step reframe. This is the process I'll be using, so you'll always know where we are and what I'll be asking of you. If you choose to join in, there's no pressure. This is your space, at your pace. If you're not ready to go into it, that's okay too. Simply listening with curiosity is more than enough. Step 1, identify the pattern. Codename it X. Step 2, establish communication with the part running X. Step 3, discover the positive intention. Step 4, call in your creative part. Ask your creative unconscious to come up with at least 3 new healthier ways to meet that intention. Step 5, get commitment. Step 6, the ecological check. Ask, do any other parts of me object to this change? In a moment, I'm going to walk you through the hypnosis session step by step, starting with step 1, identify the pattern you'd like to shift. Not who you are, just something you've been doing, something that maybe started as protection but now feels like it's holding you back. We'll explore together with so much compassion because change doesn't come from force. It comes from listening, trusting, softening, and letting your system offer something wiser. You don't have to know how it all works, you just have to be willing to give it a try. I'll guide you the whole way. Are you ready? As I said before we wrap up, I'd love to invite you to a short guided hypnosis session. You don't need to close your eyes unless it feels right. Just allow yourself to tune out the outside world for a moment and gently turn inward. If you're not quite ready or it's not your thing, that's completely okay too. Just listening with an open heart can still be powerful. This track is called Unhook from the Loop. It's designed to softly remind your nervous system that it's okay to relax. You are safe now. Healing is already happening. The future holds light. So if you're in, let's begin. As you take a slow, deep breath and feel your chest gently rise and fall, I wonder if you're already beginning to shift from automatic responses into a space of soft awareness. And while you're settling into the rhythm of your breath, let the desire for total disengagement join the moment, as if tuning out truly adds to your calm like a quiet afternoon by the sea. With each breath, you notice the usual thoughts, worst case scenario thinking, starting to loosen their grip. It's okay to acknowledge them, just thoughts blending into the background now. And as you return to your breath, and if you're ready, you can begin to breathe yourself into a deep sense of ease. I once knew someone who used to doom scroll like it was a second job. They had no internal procedure to stop, no off switch. It was like living in a house with no stairs, no clear way up or down, just trapped in the same room of headlines. They're probably still scrolling right now, but you're here breaking the loop, reconnecting with presence and possibility. So now just notice as your breathing slows, your heart rate follows, all the excess urgency simply settles, and you're left with this ability to observe, to notice, to reflect. You're already outside the loop, aren't you? As you float outside of it gently now, try something different. Let's take those spiraling thoughts and feed them through a new lens. The 6-step reframe, soft, fluid, and no force needed. Step 1, identify the pattern. Begin with awareness. I'm catastrophizing again, imagining disaster, doom, collapse. Step 2, acknowledge the positive intention. Say gently, my mind is trying to protect me. It wants me to be prepared. It wants me safe. Step 3, separate the emotion from the event. Notice the feeling. Maybe it's a tightness in your chest, fluttering of thoughts, and say, this is just the emotion. It's not the truth. Step 4, ask, what else could this mean? Maybe the intensity is a call for clarity, a sign you care, a reminder of your values. Could it mean you're ready to focus on what does matter? Step 5, create new possibilities. Instead of scrolling, maybe I'll check with my body. Instead of debating, maybe I'll make a kind call. Instead of spiraling, I'll anchor myself into something simple and real. Step 6, future pace that choice. Imagine yourself tomorrow, calmer, wiser, clear. What does that version of you thank you for doing today? You can't control what's happening around you, but you can control where you place your focus, and you're already doing it. With each breath, you've slowed your blood pressure, your breath rate, and in turn, your heart rate. I invite you back into your garden of peace, the one we started planting in Module 1. You can choose to sow more seeds of peace here. And now back to the breath. Let your thoughts settle. Even when that part of you might groan, I can't handle another election ad. Let calm move through you, even when the fear whispers. Let yourself exist beyond the noise, beyond the clickbait, beyond the chaos. You are here, breathing, steady, still. You can let yourself breathe even if you feel unsure. You can take a step back even when it feels like everything demands your attention. You do have the ability to return to your breath, to regulate your thoughts. You've already begun to do it. I once met someone who felt like they were missing something important, but eventually realized they hadn't missed anything at all. They just never paused long enough to feel safe in the moment. Let's get curious now. If you disengage completely, do you protect yourself? If you argue online, will it soothe you? If you share stories, are you fueling a collective panic? These questions don't require answers, just peace, a space to realize you get to choose a frame. You are here to live, to witness, to breathe, to hold space for all the parts of you that need gentleness. And if your inner mind ever drifts into the cosmic, you might remember how the universe once spun in wild abandon, storms howling through the void, moons colliding, dust floating, until one day it softened, and from that dust life emerged, just like you. And isn't that the most beautiful reframe of all? From that chaos comes a kind truth, a quieter truth, the kind you're breathing into right now. Welcome back. Thank you for showing up for yourself today, for being open, present, willing to explore what's possible. You've just taken a powerful step by allowing this hypnosis session to gently guide you towards a deeper sense of calm and inner healing. You may already feel something inside you has shifted, even just a little. That's worth honoring. You've now completed Module 2, Spot the Patterns, Reclaim Your Power, and what a beautiful moment that is. Over the coming days, we'll continue unfolding this journey together with 5 transformative modules designed to support your healing and nurture your inner strength. Module 1, Why Anxiety Feels So Real. Module 2, Spot the Patterns, Reclaim Your Power. Module 3, Reset Your Body's Alarm System. Module 4, Compartmentalize the Chaos. Module 5, Rebuild Inner Safety and Confidence. Each module is an invitation to go deeper, gently and at your own pace. You might still feel the softness of the hypnotic state in your body, and that's perfect. Let it be a reminder that healing doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes it starts with a breath, a pause, and a little kindness towards yourself. You're doing beautifully, and I'm honored to walk this path with you. Thank you for taking this brave step. I'm excited to continue this journey with you. You've just reframed your anxiety. What a powerful moment. And I wonder if a new version of you is starting to show up, maybe one that's ready to embrace creative risks, lean into the uncomfortable, and trust that those moments of tensions are signs of something beautiful waiting to unfold, just like Ariana Huffington, who started to see anxiety not as a threat but as a message from her body saying something needs care. Or Mark Andreessen, who views anxiety as proof that he's pushing boundaries of his creativity, knowing he's creating something new, risky and exciting. And think about Sheryl Sandberg, who after a personal loss began to see her anxiety as a sign that she's still healing, still building. It was proof of her strength even in the darkest of times, and now you've reframed your anxiety. I hope you're starting to feel that shift, like you can use this energy to fuel your growth instead of holding you back. You are more than capable of creating and embracing new opportunities. I can't wait to see what comes next. This is just the beginning of a whole new chapter, and I'm with you every step of the way.